Oh, we're live. Hello, stream. Okay, so this is what we are trying to achieve here. We're going to use a chat GPT. Um, we are using chat GPT to create a C Sharp Windows form application. So the idea is that I actually have built an application already to do this um, task which I want to achieve, but I want to see how the chat GPT comes up with this. So I've been giving instructions like set by set. So the first one says, to write a C sharp application which reads serial data continuously, then data reaches a certain threshold, then it's available for testing. And then once you press the test button, it's gonna check for the highest value which comes on that specific serial data. And then once it starts, so basically the data will rise and then it'll start dropping after a point of time. So once the value drops below 2%, then the application is going to finish test. It's going to say test completed. And then there are other things like you know once the test is completed, then we would like it to be printed on a printer. And in that we will have certain information like how the customer information and all of the auxiliary data which is required. So what I did was earlier before starting the stream, I actually gave those instructions. So you could actually see here me adding a comment saying add customer name, flavor, quantity to this code, and that implemented the things as we need. And then what I did was I said I wanted to change it from text fields because that's what it basically gave me. First, the very first code which it gave was for um, a command line application, but what I wanted was a more of a Windows form application. So I asked it to change that first. And since we are using text box here and I wanted drop down because I want predefined data like predefined data for all these customer details and all that. So I asked it to change it to drop down and it did. And then I told it at the end that I want to print the label. Um, using ESCPOS method. There are different methods which you could use, and this is a thermal direct thermal slash thermal printer, and it uses ESCPOS, which gives you much more clearer clarity in terms of printing. So we are using TSE-TE244. I think there is a typo, and it didn't care. It just went for TE2444. But the protocols remains the same for no matter what printer model you have. So the printer is TSCTE244. So I gave that data, that input to it, and it actually started changing things. So the flavor combo has like certain uh, default flavors added. Again, it came up with all these flavors. No, none of it is from my input. And then it shows me the code change and the print label command right here. So this is the refresh on what I've done till this point. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start implementing this on C Sharp and see what are the challenges I face and how I want to change the code based on my requirement to get this up and running. So let's get started and don't mind me eating in between. Just having my breakfast. All right, let's get started. So Visual Studio, here we come. Okay, so I'm gonna name this as tester. The first thing which I'm going to do is mm, Windows Form application. That's what I want to do, and I want it in C Sharp. So that's selected. Mm, let's name it a screener. because it's basically screening for some value. Okay. All right. Let's do that. All right, let's do that. Ah, having a hard time moving. Okay, so we have the application here. So let's try following the instruction. So this says this is a C sharp console application, so we're not going to use this. Here I've asked it to change it to Windows Form application. So first create a new Windows Form application in Visual Studio. That's exactly what we did. And it says drag a button on the form and set enable property to false and double click to create a form load. So basically this button is the test button, start test button, which I asked it to create. So let's just go for the form load first. Let's see. Now we might have some references which we need to still add that will go about. Let's include these headers also, system.io, which is important. Okay. So now let's see if it had already given a instruction for this. You see the serial port, serial. Yeah, instruction is given here, but yeah. Anyways, drag a serial port control. So let's do that. Interesting. So it's asking me to bring a serial port control, which is not available for me right here. Interesting. So there should be choose items. I think it comes in components as far as I remember. Let's wait and see. Looks like serial port is there. Why is it not exiting? Exit. Yes. Sorry about that. Okay, so why am I not? Okay, so let's check that. Interesting. Let me change my project setting and see what it is all about. No, mine is a proper .NET project. Ooh, well, we could actually ask ChatGPT itself for why it is not there, right? Why it looks so scary there. Okay, it's not a .NET Core. I don't understand why it's not working. That's our first roadblock. Hmm. Hello. சரி வாங்க. Hmm. This is quite interesting. Okay, let's add this and see what it does. Formdesigner.cs. There is an initialize component. Okay. So this is what they want us to add. Let's see. Suspend layout. We're adding two more lines here. That's it. We are removing all of this because it's just pure duplicate. Let's see what fix it gives. Should be using serial, yeah, something like that. Yeah, let's see if this solves. Serial port could not be found in the namespace. Interesting. Hmm. Let's try that once again to see. We said Windows Form application and then we chose this. This is not a core. Uh, okay, so I see two here, Windows Form application C sharp and Windows Form application .NET framework specifically. So, is there a way I could mute everything? One sec, I'll be back. Yeah, let's try this one. I'm going to give it a screen v3. Just do that because I didn't want to get into trouble. Oh, yeah, there we are. That's the serial port which we are looking for. So basically, when you create a Visual Studio application, when you don't choose .NET, it just goes to core and it doesn't say it is a core. If you are a newbie or if you are someone like me who forgot most of it, then that's how it is. All right, not a problem. Let's start from the beginning. Good that we didn't progress much. All right, so we have the button, we have the form load, and in the form load, we are going to get a code. All right. Serial port 1, that's what I'm going to drag and drop here. All right, serial port 1 is there. Now this should be solved automatically. That's done. All right, so now we have serial port code. Now we are bringing in the button one click. The way we are going to do is we're going to name it though. We're going to say it as, we're going to call it reset btn. Oh no, sorry, it's a start test btn, right? And we double click it, started btn click. So we have, if highest value is equal to 0, then no data collected yet. It was completed, highest value, and blah, 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 blah. It remains, I need to bring in these two variables over here, I guess. Yeah. All right. That's done. Now instead of button one, we're going to say start test enable button. Yeah. All right. So these two looks fine. Now we have the data received part of the serial port. So I'm going to copy this entire thing because there is not much to change as far as I know. It's just reads the data. So serial port 1 data received argument. Let's just say this one. Okay, we are making enable false because that's what has been instructed by CHAT GPT to do so. And I'm going to change the name to, okay, start test. All right, cool. So now getting back here, serial data 1 received. The data is lesser than 180, and if it is not ready for test, begin invoke action message box shows return ready for testing button 1 dot enable. Now this is going to be changed to start test button. All right, I think we might have one more instance. All right. Now here is a problem. I instructed it to show a message box when the value drops below 2% of the highest, but it had understood in a way that, because looking at this I was wondering what is this, but what is happening right here is that it is saying if it drops below 2%, perform the start button action, like it emulates the click. Now this is the wrong part. So I'm going to give the instruction when the value drops below 2%, the test completed message should appear. Let's see if it is. Oh, we are not in connect. No, we are not connected to it. So let's just refresh. So it is saying apologies for my oversight in the previous response. Here is the updated code where includes checks, value below 2%, highest value, and blah blah blah. It is asking us to modify the click event handler of the test button. Hmm. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Okay. Now, since we didn't go deep with the code, we were just scratching the surface, but then now I asked it to change something in the code and it's giving me more advanced levels, but it's fine. I just need to add drop down boxes. Let me just do that. Customer name combo box should be done. Flavor combo box is another. Flavor, so let's name it flavor. And then the last should be the quantity combo. All right. Now we need a timer, and this is start test btn. We need a reset button, and we need a boolean called test in progress, which we will create. Okay, that's sorted. So let's get the timer in. We have a timer, so that's gonna keep ticking whatever it needs to do. We just need a reset button. Let's put as reset button. What is not an btn? Let me do that. Okay, so reset, when I click, it's gonna give me some code which btn.enable equals false. Alright. So now let's scroll more and see what are the other changes it wants us to do. So now we have the timer one tick, which has a logic. So let's just paste that and see if there is anything. We have a read serial data function which we haven't defined yet. So what this is doing is on every tick, it's going to read the data and then it's going to compare. And if the value is, see again, there is a problem in the logic. It says if the value is below 180, then stop the timer. No, that is not what I wanted. What I wanted is if the value is below 180, then you enable the button so that we can actually start the test. So we will play around with that, but let's first get the rest of the functions in place. This is the print label function. Let's be there. Yeah, we gotta use raw printer helper. Let's add that. Hmm. Hmm. Seems like I need to add a class. Namespace is obviously going to be screener v3. Hopefully that works. Ow. Right. Is it solving? Why? Oh, because the class name? Okay. Hmm. No. Why am I not able to use the class? Let me check that. Oh, did I mess up while adding? I did the process. I did class and then I said raw printer helper already exists, open an editor, unique name. Okay. Let's not. What we'll do is we'll cut this out, then we'll delete it. Then let's add one more time. Raw printer helper. It's exactly the same. No, not much of a change. I have no clue what I'm doing. Not sure if that's the one. Okay. So current val is equal to read serial data. Where is this read serial data? Hmm. Is it the generic one or is it the one which we implemented? I'm not sure. So let's just check. Here's the problem. What had happened is that earlier it was on a press of a button, I believe, or on an update statement, and now it is more of a based on the tick. Hmm. So now it got messy. Here is why. What happened was when I changed the requirement from, say, um, when I was telling it that the button should not get activated uh, after the value falls below 180, as per the logic, then ChatGPT went ahead and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the requirement. I mean, I didn't give a correct answer," and then it changed it. Now, this time when it changed, it actually sort of added a timer to it, which was not existing earlier. And the moment the timer got involved, the function started changing. But let me ask her to show full code. Let's see if let's see the full code, then we'll understand it a little better. So here the function says when you click on the start button, you actually start reading. There is something terribly going wrong here. Okay, so when you press test button, enable reset button, disable test button. Okay, all of that is fine. Okay, changing colors, test completed. We're doing that. Let's do continue. Okay. You gotta do this if your code is like pretty long. ChatGPT generally tends to just stop wherever it is, just to save some data. So you gotta say continue so that it continues. Okay, main form. Why are we calling it as main form? I don't know. Okay, look at this. Let's just go to the logic part. The entire code is slightly different here. Serial data test. Hmm. If you look at it, this is a different code altogether than what it was giving earlier. Hello. Huh. நீங்க ஆர்டிஓக்கு அடுத்து கொட்டிவாக்கம் இது வரும். Okay, so that's where we ended up trying to create something with Chat GPT. Now, is it impossible to do? Obviously not. We can totally do it. maybe we need to consider it to be like they say no. Um you gotta ask the right question to get the right answer. That's what is true about ChatGPT. So you have to ask it in a way. You can't just blindly go and say, okay, I want this, and it's gonna throw at you something which maybe like has a chance of like 30% working. So you gotta be really specific. It's literally like how you do Google search, but it's a little bit better. How? Because it customizes the result for you, whereas Google search doesn't do it. Involves you thinking about it and doing it. So I'm gonna attempt this once again from the beginning, but this time I'm gonna do it step by step and try to, just change the segments which I wanted to change, and let's see how that goes. Now, the first thing which I wanted to see is, let's remove the unnecessary one, or let's remove the core logic. Let's have a ticker. Let's remove the print label. We don't need serial port data receive. Nothing, none of it. Everything I'm just clearing it out. Maybe the form load I can leave it open because we might get into some sort of a error. All right, so now our code looks almost clean. We can leave it, it's fine. All right, so let's just save it, run it once just to be sure we don't have any errors. Well, we do have errors. What is the error? Oh, okay. I had removed some click events. Timer event handlers. What else? Reset button. Let's just check if there is anything else. This should be the last. Okay, so we are back to square one. So we have three drop downs and we have start test and reset button. So the first thing which I'm planning to do, so this is my second attempt. So let's see if, let's start fresh. So we're going to say new chat. All right, so we are starting off with a new chat. One moment. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to probably lay out the core, that is the reading data first, right? So C sharp code to read serial port using timer. So the reason why I'm saying timer is because I don't want it to be constantly read. Only when I press start button, I want the timer to start and then start reading data. So let's see what it throws at us. All right, so we are defining serial ports here. Now, if you notice, this has a different approach compared to what it had earlier. Earlier, it was asking for a serial port component, but now it is using, just programmatically, not just asking me to drag and drop something. So, cool. Let's make sure that we use all these three. So let's go back here. We are on screener, form one. All right. So now let's replace with that. We keep it as minimal as possible. Oh, did I miss something? Oh, Windows Forms, sorry. Okay. IO port, Windows Forms, task thread, all of this we can remove system. Let's put system on top. All right. That should do the trick. Yes. All right. So now we have a private serial port. Serial port. Let's just add to that. Sorry. Am I putting it in the right place? I'm not sure. Now I'm putting it in the right place. Using system timers. Not really. Okay, this seems to be creating some problem. I put it in the wrong place, but yeah. So this using Windows Forms timer. Or I can just drag and drop. It should be fine, but let's see. Let's just go with the serial port reader and then timer tick, right? So let me create a timer first, just to keep things sane and not go crazy. So we have timer one. So let's just initialize it, probably use it directly. Let's go public serial port read, and here I'm gonna keep calling this underscore timer. Let's see if I can rename this to underscore timer. If that's the case, then this should not be a problem. Okay, underscore timer is. It is a little interesting. What am I using here? Let's see if the code is of indifferent here. Hmm. Okay, now let's look at the serial port read in the previous code and this. Serial port read previous code had just the serial port reading. But then here, all of a sudden we get text boxes, and then we are adding the text box, and then we are coming to the serial port here. It's a little tricky. So let's see if we have IO port system. We have system.timers. Okay. Looks like we don't need system.timers. How is that even working? I don't know. Okay, let's see. So we have form. Then we have serial port, timer. Don't say this is working now just because I removed that. Wow. Okay. All right. We don't need text boxes. We just need serial port and then the timer concept. So that's exactly what we're gonna use right here. All right. Um, I think I might have to remove this. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's go back here. Yes, now everything looks fine. Event handler is timer tick. Copy that, paste it. So timer tick is solved. What's with the serial port reader? Method must return a type. It's a public serial port. Okay, port name, probably we can say. But this is a clean function. So let's just remove it for now. Okay. Let's add a text box called value txt so that we can show whatever the value we are getting. Okay. So values txt should go. I don't know what's happening here. Environment plus new line is not required, just data is enough. Hmm. Return null is not happening. Huh. Start with them. Left to void. Ah, so it doesn't return anything. Alright, this looks fine. Now the problem which I might come across is that the problem which I can come across is that I don't have a COM1 active, so I need to get some hardware up and running so that I get these things working. Let me enable this. Alright, now let's see. The moment I press, I should get an error saying the COM port cannot be opened. Yeah, see, serial port.open cannot happen because the COM1 doesn't exist. So we need to get some COM here. So let me get some hardware. This is my fancy box of components, and I think I'm gonna take a Node MCU, pretty old one, and let's just load some analog read to it and probably use that. That's that's the simplest way, as simple as it can get. Okay, let's go to Arduino. I plugged it in. I really wish I had an analog potentiometer to control the analog values, but Okay, let's just, I think it's a dev module, sketchbook. Nama. Ah, best. Hmm. Ah, 10 समय. நான் யூஸ் பண்றேன். கேட்கும் புரியாது. Ah, okay, I think it's uploading now. No, it didn't. Maybe it's this one. So this is the problem with. Let me remove it and add another device. So there are some Node MCUs which I have are like running MicroPython, so I don't know which one is what, unfortunately. Okay, so this one is COM12. Let's try that. Okay, let's see what the serial data is. Nothing was happening. Let's try uploading. Okay, it works. Perks of having multiple hardwares, like multiple things to play with. Okay, good. Now let's look at serial data. Perfect. That's something which I was looking for. So if I, all right, looks good. So this should work. So this is COM 12. So we got to be sure to make it as COM 12. 9600 is the baud rate. So that shouldn't be a problem. Let's run it. And this time we should be able to read it, provided I close Arduino. Remember, serial port is just one device at a time. Oh yeah. So there it is. Now what's happening is it's basically appending. So which happens is you just keep adding on to it. But what I want to do is just show the last line because that's going to give us technically the last data. So let's have a look at it now. So it shows 16. I'm going to touch it so the value changes a bit. Okay, things went crazy because I sort of disturbed the entire thing. Oh yeah, now it's fine. The value is dropping into 0 because I'm touching the analog pin to the ground and it's fine. So now we have the reading part. I'll be back. The next part which I'm going to implement is if the value is say below a certain value, then set a state to true. I mean set for testing ready is true, and if the value is above certain value, then you are good to go, right? What I want you to do is add a code. First, let's just reload because sometimes the network loss and whatnot brings the logic of setting. Now, this is not even like 3 lines or 4 lines of code which I can type myself, but I want to see how Chat GPT is able to handle it. So that's why I'm going like, in terms of describing the problem and seeing what it gives as an output. When the value is below 180, set the the testing process is simple. When the values So it's quite complex of way of saying what I wanted, but I want to see how it reacts. So what I'm saying is add a code segment which brings the logic of setting is ready for test to true or false based on the following. And then I'm starting to give some instructions of what that situation or condition is. When the serial read value is below 180, that is serial value is below 180, set the is ready for test true. Okay, and then start testing. Now here it is very ambiguous because I'm not telling exactly what variable to do or what to use. I'm just saying then start testing. So I'm guessing it'll start adding testing is testing or something like that. The testing process is simple. When the value keeps rising, that is generally below beyond 180, when the value keeps rising, and after a while, after a while it will start falling. Well, make sure to look for it so that when it falls below 2% of the highest value, the test is complete. So say from 180 you are going up say till 200, and then it'll automatically start falling to like say 199, 198. So when it falls below 2%, then your test is complete. Now let's see what it gives. Out of the bat, we have some variable declarations here, which is ready for text, max value, last value is testing, which sounds perfect. Now we are reading blah 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 blah. We are going for the tick. Okay. We are on the timer tick function. We are reading. Okay, double value. All right, double types dot pass data out value. The value is less than 180 is reading is ready for test is true. So this logic is perfect. Now if is ready for test and not is testing, then you are setting is testing true, max value is equal to value, last value is equal to value. Now this seems logical because when you are ready but you're not testing, and when the not testing flag is set, I mean is testing value is testing flag is set to false, then you're sort of swapping it and saying you are starting to test it. So you're testing it and you're setting the minimum and the maximum and the last value. And then we have another condition. This is on the next cycle. If is testing is true, then check if the value is greater than the max value. If value is greater than the max value, then obviously you're gonna put it back to the max value. If the value is lesser than the last value and the last value is equal to max value. Oh, this is beautiful. Check it out. Check if the value is falling after rising. So it's saying if the value is smaller than the last value and the last value is equal to max value. So if my last value is, the max value is 200 and my last value is also 200 and the value which I'm getting is 199, which means we are technically falling, right? The value keeps falling. Yes. So let's assume that this condition is true. Check if the test is complete. If value is smaller than the max values into 0.02, which technically means that it is 2% of the actual value, then we are saying text complete. And then we are saying it's ready for test false, 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 false. Else, we're just updating the entire thing. That's pretty neat. Now we gotta put this in test and see how it works. So let's do that. So let's do the declarations first. These are the 4 declarations which we see here. Value txt is what I'm gonna call it. Okay, let's see. Timer tick, right? So let's go to this, and there is no timer. Did we enable the timer? Timer dot start. Yeah, we have done it. Compo 12, timer dot start, and then only we are ticking, and then we are going inside. We are saying read line, append. No, we are just saying string data is equal to read line, try parse data dot text is equal to data. Yeah, this should do. So now we are checking this. Let's just do a console write line, right? I don't remember. I keep swapping between Unity and this, so I sort of lose it. Yeah. All right. So let's see this working. All right, so our value is way below and it's looking good. Now I need to figure out a way to actually play with it. So let me let me see what I have and what I can use. I'll be back. Okay, so back. All right, so this is where we left. Uh, Looking at the value, then we are writing value to the string. So we basically have something which reads the data and sort of shows here when I press start test, that's showing the value in the console log. So that's with the stage one. Now what we're going to do is, if the value is we need to figure out a way to increase, make this analog thing working. So let me go and check if there are any components. Okay, I have a joystick which I can use, but I have to find certain things. Okay, so holding the pins sort of gives me a push for 300, and then it comes back down to 16, which is good. Now let's have a check on our logic. So we are doing this. Let's have some console logs so that it's a bit descriptive. 16. போட்டுருங்க. அது பிஞ்சிருச்சு எனிவேஸ். இல்ல அப்படியே மடிச்சு வைங்க வேற எதுக்காவது யூஸ் பண்ணி. ஒரு அமுக்குனா அப்படிதான் அமுக்குனானா அப்படியே உட்காந்துக்குமே. அவ்வளோதான். ம். ம். ஜிப்பு சரியா இல்ல. தனியா தொங்குதே. ஜிப்பு மூடல. மடிச்சு இது கட்டி வச்சிருங்க. வெளியில பால்கனில போட்டா வீணாயிருமா? பேப்பர் வச்சிருக்கீங்கல்ல, நியூஸ் பேப்பரு. நியூஸ் பேப்பர் வச்சிருக்கீங்கல்ல, இத வச்சு அது மேல நியூஸ் பேப்பர் வச்சீங்கன்னா அப்படியே உட்காந்துக்கும். ஏதாவது மேல வெயிட் வச்சேன்னா உட்காந்துரும். ம். ஓகே, ஓகே. ம். சரி. வேணாம் சரியாயிருமா? Well, I have a cutter. Fine. Let's see if I pass on the 3.3. Okay, so it seems to be working, but I'll tell you the problem is you're not showing it as a message box here. So let's do that. Let's look at it once again. Okay, so now we have a series of problem happening, which is the going, timer is not deactivating, right? So message box dot show, all of this is fine. Underscore timer dot stop. Let's stop that. And then the rest of the things remain the same. Let's look at once again. 16. The problem is me putting a message box before the timer stops. So let's do it once again. This time, yeah, we have this. Let's do start test. It's reading 16. Keep it there. Do this. Stop. Perfect. So it says test complete. All right. So now when we click reset, now this is where the fun part is. So we made a little bit of a change to the code manually, which is acceptable. It's not too much. Now I'm going to say implement reset. Now I'm asking it to implement a reset test function. That is going to reset all the things. Okay, next time onwards, I'm going to put up as a code snippet and not the entire code because it feels useless for me to just look at the text which we already have. One thing which would be nice is to have a drop down of the serial ports which are available for us to use. So probably that'll be the next thing which I would like to implement. Okay, I'm not going to waste this. I'm just going to say, show me the code snippet of reset function. I'm just going to do that. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah. See, this is the beauty of it. So it's like I can just get what I want. Again, like I said, the way you ask question really matters. It's just not about, you throw anything at it and then it'll give you something miraculously. No, it's more of how you ask and what you ask, and based on that, it should be able to give you the answer. So I asked it for a snippet, and I'm getting a snippet which is pretty good because that works for me. So I have a reset, which is basically resetting everything. And there is a reset button call, which is calling the reset test function. So let's go to design. Let's click on reset button. That's it. So it's going to reset most of the things. Now, if the if the let me put it generic and see what it shows. So what I want to achieve is if the is system ready is ready for test is false, then I would want the button for start test itself to be disabled because I don't want to start a test if it is not ready, right? But let's see what it does. Okay. So it basically added this segment, I feel. So let's just look at it. We are in the timer tick function, bytes to read, and then we're saying string value, text, and all that. Double value, if double value, try dot pass. And then if the value is less than 180, is ready for test, is true. We have it. Else is ready for test is equal to false. So it's basically adding this segment. Then update button function is being called here. This is something which is going to update the button based on whatever the thing we have. So let's get to the update button function. So update button function is right here somewhere I saw, but this is the function. So what this function is doing is it is updating based on the true or false state. Now this can be shortened out, but it's okay. This can easily be assigned based on whether is ready. So start test button dot enable is equal to is ready for test. You can just swap. You can directly put it that way. But it's okay. It's not about efficiency. It's more about whether we are able to build the entire application based out of CHAT GPT with minimal to no adjustment in terms of the code. So let's see. So we have a reset button now, and we have a let's do for the reset button also. Enable, disable, reset button 2. Let's see whether it understands that I want to swap the reset, or is it going to be the testing state. Let's see if it understands that. Oh, this time it became a lot more efficient. You could see that the same function, update button function, which we had, has changed to update buttons, and it exactly gave the style which I was talking about bit earlier in terms of efficiency, which is it's pretty smart. Test button dot enable is equal to is ready. So you directly assign the boolean to this. So if is ready is true, this is going to be there. Is ready is false, this is going to be false. The same thing is applicable for reset button. When it is testing, then it is going to be enabled. When it is not testing, it's going to be disabled. It's pretty neat trick. Here is the catch. Every time you ask it to change something, it's going to change drastically. So you need to be really clear on where to replace what and stuff like that. So update button, yeah, is testing also. Let's check if we have is testing is equal to false and all that is perfect. Okay, so test button is going to be called as test ptn. I'm going to give this there. Remember that the test, what is it, test button, right, is called start test btn, and reset button is called reset btn in this, just giving that information. Let's see if it reacts. No, I don't want an updated. Oh dear god. Nah, I'm gonna stop that. I don't want to waste some resources. All right, so now we have this. Let's run it out and see. We are hitting the start and we are welcomed with an error saying what is the error, dude? The name update test button does not exist. Oh, that's because it's been changed to update button states. So let's apply that. So actively remembering what changes you make is very critical. All right, so we have 16. So the moment, okay, what if I start high? Let's look at that. So I'm gonna be high. Okay, so we don't have any of those buttons. Let me drop it. Now we have start test. Now clicking on start test, I got an error because I have no clue why. Let's just, okay, test complete. Okay, reset. All right. Make code snippet to show all the variable status in a single label. This just makes things little easier. So system readiness. Ooh, I like that word. Update label is the function we're gonna call on every tick. Right? Now we just need a status label, so that's something I'm gonna add in the design. Let's put it over here and probably call it as, okay, that looks good. All right, so now let's place it at the bottom like usual. Okay, let's bring in some high values. Test complete. Okay. I think I want this update status label to be more on the form. I uh, let me just see if I can use it somewhere else. Okay, so I want to change irrespective of the timer. So update status labels irrespective of timer. Now this is what I would like to have. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what it is going to give me. Huh? Ma? So now, see, it's getting a little dumber now. Not dumber, but maybe the way I asked the question or the way I asked it was not in point. So I asked it to update outside the timer, so it has just pulled up in the reset button. So what I'm going to do is I want the status label to update continuously, but not inside a timer. Now this can be handled couple of ways, but let's see what. One is like adding us another timer and probably doing this. This is what I don't like. Repeating the same thing again and again is like very frustrating. Hmm. Ha, finally, status timer tick. That's exactly what I was talking about. So basically, it is suggesting me to add another timer. Ideally, that's what even I would have done. Just another timer which can take care of all the statuses so that it, sort of get things done. So let's check where is the status timer declaration though. In this example, a new status timer component is added to the form with a suitable time. Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. So let's add it and let's call it status timer. Okay, now this status timer tick, we're going to say update labels. So it was able to understand that. Now the problem is that um, some of the things which we try to achieve with this would be a lot more easier to do it like manually, like faster compared to going back and forth. But the whole idea is to see whether or not we'll be able to use this. So it is what it is. So let's do a high. Okay, so we have the test complete. So we have the status system readiness ready, test complete. Okay. Now again, system readiness is not ready, test not in progress. Now, the system readiness is not ready. Why? Because purely we had reset it. But then only when you click on start test. Okay. So here is the thing. This is what I want to do. Um, I want to have the logic in a separate timer controlled by start test button, and I want the serial read to be on another timer continuously reading. So keeping them separate will make logical sense. Let's see what it does. So that's the logic part, which is start test timer. And there is a separate serial read timer which works perfect. No, 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 no. See, that's where you're going wrong. I don't want any of those update buttons, or I don't want any of those. See, see now it's going little haywire because the complexity is going a bit. It's adding a bit more layer of complexity. So ideally, what I would prefer is just read the data and then do all this part in the well, actually, it is right if you think about it, because if you have to start the timer, then I need to do this. Well, yeah, looks like it's smart. So let's just get this done now. Let's create another timer. So we have a status timer, we have a test timer. Let's put a serial read timer, and we should have one more timer, which is logic timer, right? Yeah. So that is called what? Logic timer. Okay. So let's look into the logic timer now. And I think we can skip this entire part. So logic timer is going to have this entire logic part applied, all of it. And it's nothing new, it is just pretty standard. Pretty standard content, nothing new. Logic timer is done. Now the serial read timer is the one which is actually going to read all the serial data. So let's check on that. Let's go to this and let's say serial read timer, save. Again, we're going to say val txt box, whatever that is. Yes, append data. All right. So we have a serial read timer. We have a start test btn. Now we need to change these though, I feel. So let's just see. All right. So now when I click start test BTN, this is not going to happen. Serial port reader will already be running, right? So let's say logic timer is off, status timer is always on, serial read timer is off at the moment. So the way I see it is that when I click on the button, uh, that's bad. That's gonna start the serial start. So we are basically starting the timer when we click on this button. Now, the moment we click on it, this reading is going to start and it's going to populate. And then the start test will ideally start the logic timer. Start the logic timer, and obviously the reset. Something which we'll see. Hmm. Interesting. Oh, okay. So I think I made a mistake of removing something which I'm not supposed to remove. Serial port reader, we need to call this. Where is it calling? Oh, let's check that out now. So this event is going to be the serial reader timer tick. Okay, so we have it. That's running. Readiness is ready, testing not in progress. Okay. So one thing I need to obviously change is this text is quite annoying. So I'm gonna remove this and say text is equal to data and get over with it. Okay, let's run it once again. All right. If I click start test, test is also in progress. Okay, things are going crazy because when I clicked on start test, the logic part comes into picture. Okay, so this read part is this is a serial read. What is this? Okay, so I see the mess here. See, it's already reading, but then we are double reading here. Double value. Think all of this needs to go. Hmm. Yes, wrong. So value D is the one which we are going to use. நீங்க உங்களுக்கு சாப்பிட்டீங்களா? நான் வேற கொடுங்க எனக்கு. நீங்க சாப்பிடுங்க அத. அம்மா, இது புதுசுமா இந்தாங்க. இது நீங்க சாப்பிடுங்க. எனக்கு வேற கொடுங்க. ஆமா, புதுசு 2வது மாசம். ஆ, இந்தாங்க. இது நீங்க குடிங்க. எனக்கு வேண்டாம். எப்போ சாப்பிட்டீங்க? சரி, ஓகே. ரோஸ் kombucha. Kombucha. I don't know if you can see it though. Oh yeah. Oh, I never knew I'm like live in. I thought it's a Twitch stream, but now I realize that it's a YouTube stream, which is even better. All right. So all of that is fine. Okay. This should do the trick. Let's see. Okay, I clicked on start test. Everything looks fine. Now let's put an high on that pin, like 1024, and then we'll know whether this works or not. There we go. We went too high and then it dropped, which means it's a little bit messy. We didn't get the notification. Oh, that is purely because the logic is again talking to console line or something like that. Yes. So here we have to say message box dot show test complete. And once this is done, is testing is equal to false. So when you're setting is testing is equal to false, what's happening? It's ready for tests. I think we can skip this and we'll implement that in the we'll set it to true here. That way things are better. Let's move it up one bit. Okay, so this looks promising. Let's run it once again. We have click on it, we'll start reading data from it, and then we can say start test. Now it says test in progress. And then we're going to do is make the pins high. Okay, then dropped, but unfortunately it didn't work. Now let's see why. Okay, I want to see what the value is. So let's run it. Button check, start test. Mm, testing in progress. But why am I not seeing any value D? Okay, we're hitting 1024. We're coming back. Surprisingly, we're not getting an action out here. Let's go to this definition, see what is it. Read, blah, 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 blah. Then serial read timer tick is what we are getting into. Let's get inside that. We're coming here if the serial put double dot try parse data out is value d. Double value. Oh, huh. Value d is double only. Let's add some for debugging. Okay, let's run it once again. So the moment I hit this, okay, value d is running right now. And then I'm gonna do this to the touching this value d is 1024, and then value d is back to 16, which seems a bit odd because the logic doesn't seem to apply. So let's do this. Let's debug step by step. All right, so we have this. We're clicking here, we're getting here. F11 coming inside, read line. The data is 17, so we have 17. Now we are double parse out data 17, value out is this. Now value out is going to be 17, so we're getting the value 17. It's coming inside. Again, we're using the same value. 17 is smaller than this. Is ready for test, true, and closes the loop. Now we're going to the update button state where we are enabling is ready for test. Reset button is testing. And then what is the next step? That is all we are doing here. Now let's look at the logic timer. Hmm. Okay, let's do it once again. Now let's get to the logic timer. Where are you? Hmm. On start test, the logic timer is not enabled. That's an interesting. Maybe this might work. Let's do it once again. Click on this. Okay, now click on this. Now we are in. Alright, so now let's get inside. Is ready for test is true. Is testing is true. Then we're coming in console right value d dot to string 17. We are getting it. Value d is greater than the max value. Then max value is going to be value D, which is 17. If value D is smaller than the last value, no. All right. Now, okay. Let's just hit continue. Let's put a stop over there and then probably hide the spin. Okay, officially the pin is high now. F11 is testing. Value D to string should be more than, come on. Am I putting it in the wrong? Oh, maybe. Okay, so here we are hitting the 1024 bar. We are going through value D is 1024, max value is 39. Then we are assigning max value to be 1024. Then we are finishing there. Then we are coming back. And then here the value is still 1024. Hmm. Now 25. Max value is 1024. Value D is smaller than the last value. Hmm. Let's run it without. Okay, we're doing some tests. Um, okay, gonna jump it up to 2024. Okay, now coming back, should have automatically said message box. Okay, where is the threshold? I think this is a missing part. Let's see. Read, start testing. Oh, okay. Let's look at that code once again. This is done. So this goes here, this goes here. If value is lesser than the last value. Okay. So let's check that value d is lesser than last value. Then this else underscore last value is equal to value d. I think we are correct. Hmm. Why did the test stop? Or maybe because I'm playing with the pin. Yeah. Happens when I touch it. Oh, what happened to the 180 above? I don't see that logic at all. Hmm. Let's say Okay, so what we need to do right now is